I testify to let the world know that you are a repulsive liar, and those treatments were pathetically veiled sexual abuse. Perhaps you have figured out by now that little girls don't stay little forever. They grow into strong women that return to destroy your world. That's a quote from Kylie Stevens. And welcome to the Big Rant Show. Thank you for joining me. This is your week in review. There's only going to be one story in this week's review. There are other stories out there. I just didn't think they were as important as this one. And I really don't care who Donald Trump was sleeping with. It's just not something I give two shits about. This is important. Kylie Stevens, along with many other women, then minors, as young as 6 years old, were molested by Larry Nassar, the U.S. gymnastics doctor, for the past 20 years. There could be at least 1,000 or more females that were molested by this man. Hell, there could be some boys out there that got molested by this pervert. I don't know. But right now, he's gone to jail for, basically at least 150 counts of child molestation and sexual assault. Larry Nassar is a very vile and disgusting piece of shit. Some people just don't deserve to breathe the same air that we breathe. I know I've said that a lot. It probably gets a little redundant, but some people don't. You prey on children. You don't deserve my air. You don't deserve to breathe, in my opinion. I can't believe, you got off the 175 years. You're just going to die and rot in prison. And that's fine. I think they should have hung you. Maybe that's the Texan in me coming out thinking that they should have hung you. I don't know. My thought is get a rope and find a tall tree. Done deal. He pled guilty, so there's no walking that back. No one can sit here and tell me, oh, he might not be guilty. Bullshit. He's guilty. He pled guilty 3 different times. He's guilty. In a sentencing phase, lots of his victims, like Kylie Stevens here, stepped up and made a statement. There was another statement from another girl. How many of us are there? Do you even know? You preyed on me, on us. You saw a way to take advantage of your position. The almighty and trusted gymnastic doctor. Shame on you, Larry. Shame on you. After today, I will not cry anymore. I am done. You are a disaster. That comes from Casina Cyroy. I'm sorry, I am terrible at names. I am sorry if I butchered that name right there. But I'm not good with names that I haven't seen before, really. But this girl was molested by this son of a bitch, too. There were, hundreds of these girls, and a lot of them came forward and made statements at this trial. Now, the fact is, there were signs. There were signs that this son of a bitch was doing this stuff. There were signs. There were warnings. The little girls, some of them told people. They were ignored. Oh, he's just doing what he has to do to make sure you're healthy. So somewhere down the line, there's a cover-up going on here. And I guarantee you, this is not the only time. This is not the only time that this is going to be an issue. I guarantee you some other people are going to lose their jobs and some other people are going down for this because there's no way that this doctor could have kept this secret for 20 years without anyone saying something. And some of the girls have said that they did talk to people. They told people they were uncomfortable with what he was doing. And that they didn't feel like it was right with what he was doing to them. Others of them said they didn't know there was anything wrong at first. They said they knew it felt uncomfortable, but they weren't, but when the other people were saying that, it was happening to them too, and they were told not to worry about it, a lot of them assumed that it was just part of him being a doctor. But let me tell you, That is not being a doctor. A doctor has no reason for a girl with a knee injury to stick his fingers in her vagina. Period. End of story. They're not connected. Your vagina is not connected to your knee. And he knew that. But he was a pervert. Other stuff that could have pointed you in the direction that this man was a pedophile? Well, how about a sports medicine journal that he wrote an article in, or part of an article in, saying that doctors, especially that sports medicine doctors, need to get into the no-fly zone. What did he refer to as the no-fly zone? That's right, the genitals. That's an area that you're just not supposed to touch. There's no reason to be there unless there's a medical reason in that location. And yeah, there's going to be doctors in that doing that work are going to end up being in somewhat intimate areas at times. But not supposed there is no reason in the world that he should be inside, sticking his fingers inside you. To the parents, there were parents that complained about their kids being uncomfortable. They were told that nothing was going on. So, there were lots of warning signs that said this guy was doing this and doing it for 20 years. I'm glad all these girls, these now women, were able to come forward, a lot of them, and tell this guy exactly how disgusting and vile of a piece of shit he is. Now, I don't know what else to say about this too much, but if you ask me, Larry Nassar is a pile of shit. Okay? He's a pile of shit, and I know most doctors out there in sports medicine are not like this. I know most doctors in general are not going to molest children. But if you have a child that spends a lot of time with somebody, especially somebody that is going to be somewhat intimate with your child, as in they're going to have to be in close quarters to different parts of their body that most people wouldn't be around. Maybe when your child comes up and says, "Hey, Dr. So-and-so put his finger in my whatever," I don't care what it is, you should say something about it. If you're on the staff for any kind of staff involving children, and they say so-and-so touched me wrong, touched me in the wrong place, you should listen. You should do something about it, and you shouldn't ignore the children. That's what happened in this case. So now the U.S. Gymnastics Board is set to resign in disgrace for allowing this to happen for 20 years. The head of Michigan State University has stepped down for him not doing anything about it during his tenure there. And I guarantee you there are more people at Michigan State and around the country that are going to be going down for this. I guarantee you this is just the tip of the iceberg. To the victims of this crime, I am sorry for what you had to go through. I am sorry that all you were trying to do was, go win medals for our country in the Olympics, in a sport that I really enjoy watching. And I guess, things like this is a good reason why we should have age limits on girls being in the Olympics, or boys, people being in the Olympics in general. But that doesn't really change when, you're still going to have kids training to be in gymnastics or whatever. So, bad people are still going to try, no matter what. They're going to always put themselves in positions to do the evil things that they want to do. In this case, it was molest little girls. That's what he wanted to do. And even some of the girls had told people how, had said, in the trial, how, they realized, some of them realized what was going on when they realized he was, getting aroused. They said noticeably aroused when he was putting his fingers in their vaginas or doing it, and he would close his eyes, wasn't even looking. He would just close his eyes like he was really enjoying it. Rather disgusting. Larry Nassar, You are a despicable, deplorable human being. You know, there are people out there, you know, that I look at that I think of is very bad people in this country or this world. But you take the cake on most of them. You are an evil person. Fact is, I don't, like I said earlier, I think you should have been hung. Crimes against children should not be allowed to stand. It just shouldn't happen. So please, if someone comes to you anyone out there watching this video, if somebody comes to you saying, hey, please listen to me, this person is hurting me, putting their fingers in places they don't belong, molesting me, or whatever they want to say, please listen to them. Please investigate. I'm not saying forget due process. I'm not saying not to make sure that what happened is being said happened. But at least investigate it. Look into it. You know, talk to the other girls and see if anyone else has been touched at what they saw as inappropriately. And Larry Nassar, you can go to hell. Enjoy your 175 years in prison. I know you won't live that long. Humans don't. But just the thought that you're never going to get out, you'll never see the light of day again, that makes me happy. And you pled guilty to these charges, so don't even try and sit there and say you didn't do it. Because I know what some of these people that have pled guilty in the past come back and say, oh, I didn't plead guilty. My lawyers were bad, that's why I did it, so I'm not guilty. Screw you. Larry Nassar, go to hell. Go to hell and die. And I hope that somebody makes you their bitch in prison. Whether or not that's just wishful thinking and it doesn't even happen as much as one would think, I don't care. I hope somebody has their way with you. After what you put these little girls through, you deserve it. You deserve it quite a bit. You are an evil piece of shit, and you deserve whatever comes to you while you're in prison. Thanks for watching. Please keep these girls in your thoughts and prayers. And, you know, pray for their continued recovery, because this, you know, recovering from things like this isn't easy. Recovering from abuse and sexual abuse, it's terrible. So keep them in your thoughts. And I'll see you down the road.